Therefore, the arrival of the conquistador Hernán Cortés to Mexico and the downfall of the Aztec civilization was the punishment that this people received because of such horrible and monstrous crimes. Many secret formulae of alchemy existed in the temples of mysteries. The great masters from the temples in Jin state possess secret formulae in order to prepare perfumes. When their disciples inhale them, then they momentarily abandon their physical shape, or they are placed in the state of ecstasy. These alchemical recipes never have been published because humanity would use them for evil purposes. Procedurate tense, fennel seeds, lemon balm leaves, Melissa officinalis L. Parsley are restorative plants. They can be consumed in a decoction, infusion, or maceration. Any of these plants has the power to stimulate and increase the vital forces of the organism. Vermifuge plants, in order to eject intestinal parasites, garlic cloves, pumpkin seeds in sugared water, lemon juice in sugared water on an empty stomach, etc. can be used. 2. Zodiacal plants. The plants of Aries are similar to the head of the human being, and they belong to the element fire. The plants of Taurus are similar to the human neck, and they belong to the element earth. The plants of Gemini are similar to the arms, hands, and back of the human being, and they belong to the element air. The plants of Cancer have in their leaves the form of the liver or spleen. They show spots and show 5 petals in their flowers. They belong to the element water. The plants of Leo have in their fruits the shape of the heart, as well as in their leaves, and they belong to the element fire. The plants of Virgo are similar to the stomach and intestines, and they belong to the sign of earth. The plants of Libra are hot, humid, and aerial. They are similar to the kidneys, bladder, and the navel. The plants of Scorpio are similar to the genitals, and they have an offensive odor. They are hot and humid. The plants of Sagittarius belong to the element fire, and they are similar to the buttocks. The plants of Capricorn are cold and dry. They have greenish flowers and a skeletal figure, similar to the knees. The plants of Aquarius are similar to the calves, and they are aerial. The plants of Pisces belong to the element water, and they look like the feet and toes. Each one of these plants serves the organ which it is similar to. Thus, the leaves which have the shape of a heart serve for the heart. The plants similar to a snake serve for what the shape shows. Mother Nature is very sapient, yet the human being is eager to ignore her. The human being has become arrogant, and so he ignorantly wants to transcend Mother Nature. An authentic index of astrological plants must be structured upon this base of stellar analogies, since truly, it is sad to say, it is painful to see how many authors attribute to one zodiacal sign the same plant which other authors attribute to a different zodiacal sign. Therefore, all which is written about astrological botany is totally wrong. The Gnostic medics must return into the bosom of the blessed goddess mother of the world in order to investigate on their own account within the great laboratory of nature. Number 3. Plants and their planetary influence. Lunar plants. The plants which belong to the moon are insipid. They live always within the water or near the water and are cold and milky. Commonly, they have big leaves. These plants have varied sizes with white flowers that have a very delicate smell. The eucalyptus is a lunar tree. The lunar plants and trees are the physical bodies of the lunar elementals. The Ahako Mamas name the moon La Saga Tima. The lunar elementals are the elementals of the water. Some Chinese adept artists and some Buddhist priests have painted them in beautiful paintings. The great elemental kings of the water can make the student to remember those remote epochs of Arcadia in which the human being was worshipping Mother Nature. They were offering to her the first fruits of their harvest as an act of thanksgiving to the gods of the water who were watering the earth with the beneficent rain. These elementals of the water are known by the names of nymphs, nereids, ondines, mermaids, etc. I saw 2 elemental queens of the water within the waves of the Makuraba, Atlantic Ocean. One of them had the color of coral, and her tunic and face were of the same color. The other had a violet coloring. These beings looked like 2 splendid maidens. They were speaking in the occult language. Therefore, It is necessary to practice in order to understand these beings. Really, they are of an extraordinary beauty. The elemental kings of the water always use the trident, read The Elementals by Franz Hartmann. The aquatic plants are the physical organisms of these beings. The lunar elementals possess a profound Neptunian wisdom. They build their homes within the bottom of the waters with ethereal matter. They intensely love, and they form many homes. Mercurial plants. The Mercurian elementals possess middling plants with yellow flowers, a penetrating smell and varied flavors. These Mercurian elementals are utilized for mental magic. An index of astrological plants must be organized upon this basis. Sadly enough, everything that has been written about astrological botany is wrong. We see how many authors attribute to one planet the same plant which other authors attribute to another planet. If the human being wants to know about plants, then, indispensably, he needs to study our elementotherapy. Whosoever does not know about elemental magic can never know the power of the plants. Therefore, the botanists are nothing more than simple charlatans. The elementals are called pens, devs, dwarves, trolls, kobolds, browniers, nixes, trascos, goblins, pinkies, banshees, fairies, mossy people, white dames, phantoms, etc. The elementals have body, soul, and an immortal, divine spirit, just as the human beings have. In this book, I only occupy myself with the superior elementals, even though there exist millions of elementals from inferior kingdoms. We leave such ones for the degenerated pseudo-spiritualists. The ether, the fire, the air, the water, and the earth are densely populated by the elementals. There exists a great elemental god at the head of each elemental kingdom, who governs and directs his legions. The 5 gods who preside over the elementals are Indra, lord of Akasa, or ether; Agni, lord of fire; Pavana, or Vayu, lord of the air; Varuna, lord of the water; Kitichi, lord of the earth. These gods are the chiefs of the different departments of nature who govern and manipulate universal life. In order to manage these beings, one needs to be a master from the White Lodge, and in order to become a master, one needs to have walked the complete disciple's path. Whosoever acquires power over these elemental gods has the power to govern universal life. Venusian plants. The plants of the Venusian elementals are sweet and pleasant to the taste. They possess beautiful flowers, happy and abundant grains. Their perfumes are always soft and delectable and are employed in sexual magic procedures. Solar plants. The solar plants are aromatic and of an acidulous flavor. The elementals of these plants possess great magical curative powers. These elementals are called sylphs, and they are the elementals of the air. The sylphs say, "Where real worth is hidden, there the sun's rays shine." They impress upon the student the importance of gaining what is called the consciousness of knowledge, that is to say, the intuition. The sylphs possess a formidable memory. As a result, they are wise. They remember the rituals and religions of the stars and the wisdom from the most ancient books. If the student wants to remember the ancient wisdom, the sylphs can instruct and teach him. The authentic astrologers inevitably have to know the rituals of the stars in order to manipulate sidereal magic. There also exist certain black magicians or black astrologers who communicate with other black magicians from other planets by means of certain procedures of black magic. Thus, with that extra help and in combination with the planetary force, they achieve their evil goals. Those type of criminals are sure candidates for the abyss. If the Gnostic student wants to practice sidereal white magic, then he has to purify himself and to study the rituals of the stars. These rituals are known by memory by the sylphs. Whosoever does not know the rituals of the stars cannot practice the white magic of the stars, because the ritual is the instrument used in order to manipulate the forces. If the Gnostic wants to study those sidereal rituals, then he has to learn them from the higher sylphs. Read the Zodiacal course by the same author. The sylph's appearance is like an innocent child. The sylphs feel horror to the human beings, since they know very well that the present human souls are demon souls. Millions of human beings already carry the mark of the beast on their foreheads and on their hands. Thus, the demon souls carry horns upon the forehead of their astral bodies, And on their hands, they have a triangle with a point in its center. This triangle is the naiarch of the beast on the hands. The authentic astrologer does not need to create amusement park horoscopes, as the style of certain astrologers who are already famous for their ignorance. The true master astrologer receives his teachings and indications from the stellar genii. A temple exists in the center of every star. This is the abode of the genii from that planet. In order to enter into that temple, the true astrologer has to be a master, or at least a sincere and loyal disciple of the White Fraternity. Whosoever can converse with the stellar genii does not need to make horoscopes, because the stellar angels show destiny to him. However, only the masters from the White Fraternity can be disciples of the stellar angels. Read The Revolution of Beelzebub by the same author. Nonetheless, those clairvoyants who are capable of understanding the occult symbolism of the stars are the ones who march on a true path of light. When fixedly observing a star, the clairvoyant sees that the star is opening itself into an arc. Then, the seer submerges himself within the aura of that star in order to live all the events which await him in anticipation. This is what is called authentic astrology. The plants from Mars and the elementals of fire. The plants which are influenced by Mars are sour, bitter, acrid, and fiery. Many of them are thorny, and others produce irritation when touching them. Commonly, their flowers are red and small. They are found as small bushes which have a fervent smell. The elementals who are influenced by Mars are the salamanders. When we penetrate within the dominions of fire, then we enter within the dominions of the gods. In Greece, the great igneous elemental known by the name of Apollo illuminated Greece's spiritual welfare and that of the surrounding nations through his oracles, which were pronounced by his pythoness at Delphi. The elemental gods of fire were the ones who inspired Joan of Arc. Sometimes they can impress many sensitive people to lead their nations out of moments of peril. The great initiates speak with great reverence of those whom they call stillborn children of the flame. The redemption of mankind resides exclusively in the sacred fire of the Holy Spirit. Some great gods from the fire are the green-faced man who instructs one in the wisdom of the moon, or the beautiful Greek, or the great Atlantean. We are going to textually transcribe a paragraph from the book The Dayspring of Youth by M. History records many stories about the appearance of these elemental masters to the great men of the past. Here, we include a message from a fire elemental to a student. Before you were born, I was acquainted with you in the inner spheres, and we agreed to meet when you would return and harmonize yourself to my intelligence. After this long period, I have come over to you in order to instruct you in a work that had interested both of us. The fire that you perceive today with your sixth sense was the signal we will always give you when we are here, for I have a following that will help and support you. We once spoke about your work at a time when you were born in Egypt, and I witnessed your insurrection in a certain province. You gained great power in your efforts to undermine the authority of the ruler under whose scepter you had command. You failed in this conspiracy and were decapitated, but you were able to win the interest of the great elementals of the fire mists. Much of your knowledge was locked, but we can unlock this and serve you faithfully. P 93-94, Eastern Occult Press. The spiritual sun is pure fire, and that sacred fire gives us illumination. The salamanders are small and thin creatures, and their physical bodies are the hot plants, which are influenced by Mars. Whosoever learns to manipulate the elementals of the fire can cure many sicknesses, because everything comes from the fire. The fire is the base of everything. INRI, Ignis Natura Renovator Integra. The fire renews nature incessantly. Jupiterian plants. The plants which belong to the Jupiterian elementals are of a sweet, soft, and subtle flavor, even though many times they hide their flowers. The Jupiterian trees are big and leafy. The flowers from these trees and plants are blue and white, with scarcely no smell. Saturnine plants. The plants belonging to Saturn are always bulky and melancholic. They have grey and black flowers, with a displeasing smell, and with acid and poisonous fruits. Also, the plants belonging to the Saturnine elementals can be heavy without flower. They reproduce themselves without seed. They are rough and blackish. Their smell is penetrating, and their shape is melancholic and sad. The pine and weeping willow are Saturnine trees. The elementals of the Saturnine plants are the gnomes or pygmies, who build their houses under the ground and among rocks. They eat, sleep, live and reproduce themselves as the human beings do. Their bodies are ethereal, and their appearance is like amiable dwarves. Zodiacal perfumes. Sick people must smell their zodiacal perfume on a daily basis. Aries. Perfume of myrrh, Taurus, perfume like costus root, aromatic herb. Gemini, perfume of mastic. Cancer, perfume of camphor. Leo, perfume of frankincense. Virgo, perfume of white sandalwood. Libra, perfume of galbanum. Scorpio, perfume of coral. Sagittarius, perfume of aloe. Capricorn, perfume of pine extract. Aquarius, perfume of spikenard. Pisces, perfume of thyme. The whole organism of the sick person vigorously reacts when under the activity of the scent of his own zodiacal perfume. Astrologers, magicians and perfumers were always in the courts of Europe. Louis XV always demanded that his room be perfumed daily with a distinct essence. Catalina of Medici, wife of Henri II from France, was relying on certain poisonous essences, which she slyly was hiding within her glove, in order to reject a suitor whom she did not accept. Great healings with perfumes were performed in Mexico, India, Greece, and Rome. Many books exist in the libraries of Spain, which the Moors left in that nation. Such books contain innumerable recipes for odoriferous essences. When Poppaea Sabina, Nero's wife, died in the year 65 AD, Nero exhausted the whole Arabian perfume production for his wife's funeral. The priests of Tlaloc, in the country of the Aztecs, were using the colors of the solar cult and a copal sack. The incense from this sacred tree was mixed with the vapors which were discharged from the hearts of their children who were burned alive. This was done as a sacrifice to the sun god. These Aztec magicians were eagerly breathing the spiritual forces from their incinerated creatures with the purpose of incarnating within themselves those spiritual forces. These priests felt as if they were in the presence of gods when they allowed this vapor to act upon themselves mysteriously. Nevertheless, this type of cruel and savage rite had to engender a horrible karma for Mexico. Therefore, the arrival of the conquistador Hernán Cortés to Mexico and the downfall of the Aztec civilization was the punishment that this people received because of such horrible and monstrous crimes. Many secret formulae of alchemy existed in the temples of mysteries. The great masters from the temples in Jin state possess secret formulae in order to prepare perfumes. When their disciples inhale them, then they momentarily abandon their physical shape, or they are placed in the state of ecstasy. These alchemical recipes never have been published because humanity would use them for evil purposes.